Good evening. You have reached the Glitch Bureau. Every case in this archive begins the same way: a crime, a circle of suspects, and a trail of evidence that most people overlooked entirely.
Welcome to The Woman Who Died Before Dawn by The Glitch Bureau. This book covers a woman found dead in a country manor at first light. Guests from the previous night's dinner party are all suspects. Chapter 1: The Gathering Storm. In the grand dining hall of Ashcroft Manor, the evening unfolds with an air of elegance. The room, adorned with chandeliers and rich tapestries, hums with lively conversation. Guests, the creme de la creme of society, engage in spirited banter, their laughter mingling with the clink of crystal glasses. At the center of it all is Lady Eleanor Ashcroft, her sharp wit and magnetic charm drawing every eye. Yet beneath the polished veneer, tension simmers, a glance held too long, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. As the dinner reaches its crescendo, Lady Ashcroft gracefully excuses herself, retreating to the library, a room cloaked in mystery where shadows dance across shelves lined with leather-bound tomes. Here, she encounters a figure shrouded in secrecy, their whispered conversation hinting at deeper plots. The library, with its flickering candlelight, becomes a silent witness to the unfolding drama. Meanwhile, the guests, oblivious to the storm brewing, retire to their rooms. Each carries their own secrets, their own reasons for attending this seemingly innocent gathering. The manor, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, seems to hold its breath, waiting for the night's secrets to unravel. Imagine you're one of these guests, your heart racing with the thrill of intrigue. What lies behind the polished smiles and elegant attire? Experience indicates that beneath the surface of civility lies a web of hidden motives. As the night deepens, the stage is set for a revelation that will shake the very foundations of Ashcroft Manor. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an amber glow over Ashcroft Manor, the stage was set for an evening of opulence and intrigue. Carriages rolled up to the grand entrance, their occupants stepping out with an air of anticipation. The manor, an architectural marvel of the Edwardian era, stood proudly amidst manicured gardens, its imposing presence a testament to Lady Eleanor Ashcroft's status and taste. Inside, the dining hall was a spectacle of elegance. High ceilings adorned with intricate moldings, glittering chandeliers casting a warm glow, and a table set with the finest china and crystal awaited the evening's guests. Lady Ashcroft, a woman of striking presence and quick wit, greeted each arrival with a gracious smile, her eyes twinkling with the promise of a memorable evening. The guests were a diverse collection of society's elite, each bringing their own flair to the gathering. Among them was Inspector Aldous Vane, a retired detective whose reputation for solving the unsolvable preceded him. His keen eye for detail missed nothing, and as he surveyed the room, he noted the subtle dynamics at play. The evening promised more than just fine dining. It was a tapestry of personalities, each thread interwoven with secrets and unspoken tensions. As the dinner commenced, the conversation flowed freely, punctuated by laughter and the occasional barb. Lady Ashcroft, ever the astute observer, navigated the social currents with grace, her sharp tongue and charm keeping the atmosphere lively. The guests, while outwardly cordial, harbored their own grievances and hidden motives, a fact not lost on the perceptive hostess. Inspector Vane found himself seated between Lord Henry, Lady Ashcroft's estranged brother, and Miss Beatrice, her young ward. Lord Henry, with his financial troubles no secret, exuded a quiet desperation, while Miss Beatrice, with her mysterious past, seemed to carry an air of defiance. As the courses were served, Vane's mind worked methodically, piecing together the snippets of conversation and the subtle glances exchanged across the table. The evening took a dramatic turn midway through dinner when a sudden power outage plunged the dining hall into darkness. The room fell silent, the only sound the faint rustle of fabric and the soft murmur of surprise. When the lights flickered back on, a palpable unease lingered, casting a shadow over the remainder of the evening. Lady Ashcroft, unperturbed, suggested a brief interlude, inviting her guests to explore the manor while the staff attended to the issue. During this interlude, Lady Ashcroft withdrew to the library, a room steeped in shadows and secrets. The library, with its floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and dimly lit corners, was a sanctuary of knowledge and mystery. It was here that an enigmatic encounter occurred, a moment shrouded in ambiguity that planted the seeds for the night's impending tragedy. The specifics of this encounter remained deliberately vague, leaving a sense of foreboding that would resonate throughout the manor. As the evening drew to a close, the guests retired to their rooms, each carrying their own secrets and motives, unaware of the dark turn the night would soon take. The manor, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, seemed to hold its breath, anticipating the events that would unfold with the first light of dawn. Imagine you're a guest at Ashcroft Manor, navigating the intricate social dance of the dinner party. The opulence of the setting is matched only by the complexity of the relationships around you. Each guest, while outwardly engaging, harbors their own agenda, and as you observe the interactions, you begin to sense the underlying tensions. Pay attention to the subtle cues, a lingering glance, a hesitated response, for they may hold the key to understanding the dynamics at play. The dinner party at Ashcroft Manor is more than just a gathering of society's elite. It is a microcosm of human nature, where appearances often mask deeper truths. As the evening progresses, the narrative delves into the inner thoughts and emotions of the guests, revealing glimpses of their hidden motives and secrets. The tension in the room is palpable, a delicate balance of civility and underlying animosity, setting the stage for the night's tragic events. From a different angle, consider the role of Inspector Vane. His presence at the dinner party is not merely coincidental. It is a catalyst for the events that will soon unfold. With his keen eye for detail and his ability to see beyond the surface, Vane is uniquely positioned to unravel the mystery that lies at the heart of Ashcroft Manor. His observations, seemingly innocuous at first, will prove crucial in piecing together the puzzle of the night's events. As the guests retire to their rooms, the manor settles into an uneasy silence. Each guest, now alone with their thoughts, reflects on the evening's events, their minds racing with possibilities. The manor, with its rich history and hidden corners, becomes a character in its own right, its walls whispering secrets that only the most astute observer might discern. In practice, the dinner party serves as a masterclass in storytelling, weaving together elements of intrigue, suspense, and human emotion. It sets the emotional tone for the story, engaging the reader with its vivid descriptions and complex characters, ensuring a seamless transition to the subsequent scenes of the gathering storm. The impact is meaningful, as the dinner party not only introduces the key players, but also establishes the intricate dynamics that will come into play as the story progresses. It is a testament to the power of setting and characterization, drawing the reader into a world of mystery and suspense, where every detail matters and every interaction holds significance. As the chapter concludes, the reader is left with a sense of anticipation, eager to uncover the secrets that lie within Ashcroft Manor. The dinner party, with its rich tapestry of intrigue and suspense, has set the stage for a tale that promises to captivate and enthrall, leaving readers on the edge of their seats as they delve deeper into the mystery of the woman who died before dawn. The evening at Ashcroft Manor was a tapestry of elegance and intrigue. As the grand dining hall filled with the soft glow of chandeliers, the air was alive with the gentle clinking of glasses and the hum of animated conversation. Lady Eleanor Ashcroft, resplendent in her evening gown, stood at the heart of it all, her laughter a melody that harmonized with the symphony of voices around her. Yet, even as she played the role of the perfect hostess, a shadow of unease lingered in her eyes, hinting at the storm that lay beneath her composed exterior. As the dinner reached its crescendo, Lady Ashcroft excused herself with a graceful nod, her departure barely noticed amid the gaiety. She slipped away to the library, a sanctuary of quiet contemplation and hidden secrets. The room welcomed her with its familiar scent of aged leather and polished wood, the dim light casting long shadows that danced over the rows of books, each spine a silent keeper of stories untold. The library was more than a retreat. It was a place where Lady Ashcroft could unravel the tangled threads of her thoughts. Tonight, her mind was a whirlpool of suspicions and speculations. The evening's guests, each a portrait of charm and sophistication, carried with them an undercurrent of tension that she could not ignore. Her intuition, sharp and unerring, whispered warnings of deceit and danger. As she moved through the library, The soft rustle of her gown was the only sound, her footsteps a gentle echo against the wooden floor. She approached the large oak desk, its surface a mosaic of intricate carvings that she traced with absent fingers, seeking solace in the familiar patterns. Here, in this room of shadows, she allowed herself a moment of vulnerability, her thoughts a tumult of possibilities. Suddenly, the quiet was shattered by the creak of the library door. Lady Ashcroft's heart skipped a beat as a shadowy figure slipped inside, the dim light obscuring their identity. Her breath caught, but she quickly regained her composure, her voice steady as she addressed the intruder. "Who are you?" she demanded, her tone a mix of authority and curiosity. The figure remained in the shadows, their features hidden, yet their presence was palpable, a tension that crackled in the air. The ensuing conversation was a dance of words, each sentence a parry or thrust in a verbal duel. The visitor spoke in veiled threats and insinuations, hinting at knowledge that could unravel the carefully woven tapestry of Ashcroft Manor's social fabric. Lady Ashcroft, unflinching, countered with her own insinuations, suggesting leverage she held over the visitor, her words a shield against the encroaching darkness. Through the charged dialogue, glimpses of a shared history emerged, a tapestry of grievances and secrets that bound them together in a complex web. The visitor's words were laced with implications, each one a thread that threatened to unravel the facade of civility that cloaked the evening's gathering. As the conversation reached its peak, the figure retreated, leaving Lady Ashcroft alone in the oppressive silence of the library. The encounter left her shaken, her mind a whirlwind of possibilities and fears. The shadows that once offered solace now seemed to close in around her, a reminder of the danger that lurked within the walls of Ashcroft Manor. Lady Ashcroft knew she must return to her guests to the safety of the crowd, yet the weight of the encounter lingered, a heavy cloak upon her shoulders. With a deep breath, she steeled herself, determined to uncover the truth behind the night's events. She understood that the stakes were higher than she had imagined, and that the shadows in the library held the key to a mystery that threatened to consume them all. This pivotal moment in the library set the stage for the unfolding drama, revealing the cracks in the veneer of Ashcroft Manor's social setting. The library, with its shadows and secrets, became a symbol of the hidden truths that would drive the narrative forward, leaving readers eager to uncover the mystery that lay at the heart of the manor. As Lady Ashcroft rejoined her guests, the evening continued, its surface calm belying the undercurrents of tension that swirled beneath. The library encounter had shifted something within her, a realization that the night held more danger than she had anticipated. Her sharp wit and keen intelligence, once tools of social grace, were now her weapons in a battle of wits and wills. In the days that followed, the events of the evening would become a focal point, a puzzle that demanded resolution. The library, once a place of solace, was now a scene of intrigue, its shadows a reminder of the secrets that lay hidden in the depths of Ashcroft Manor. As the narrative unfolded, the library encounter would prove to be a turning point, a moment that cast long shadows over the events to come. Lady Ashcroft, with her unerring intuition and indomitable spirit, became a central figure in the unraveling mystery, her presence a beacon in the dark corridors of deceit and danger. The library, with its flickering light and whispering shadows, stood as a testament to the power of secrets and the allure of the unknown. It was here that the seeds of the mystery were sown, a reminder that beneath the surface of every story lies a deeper truth, waiting to be uncovered. In the end, the shadows in the library were more than mere darkness. They were a symbol of the hidden depths of human nature, a reflection of the complexities and contradictions that lay at the heart of Ashcroft Manor. As the story unfolded, these shadows would become a guiding thread, leading readers on a journey of discovery and revelation, where the past and present collided in a tapestry of intrigue and suspense. The grand dining hall of Ashcroft Manor, once alive with the clinking of glasses and the hum of animated conversation, now stands empty, its opulence shrouded in the quiet aftermath of the evening's festivities. The guests, having partaken in a sumptuous meal and exchanged pleasantries under the watchful eye of their hostess, Lady Eleanor Ashcroft, begin to retire to their chambers. The transition from the vibrant dining room to the hushed corridors of the manor signals a shift in the atmosphere, from the warmth of shared company to the solitude of individual contemplation. Lady Eleanor, a figure of elegance and wit, had excused herself earlier, leaving a void that her guests keenly feel as they disperse. Her absence is a silent reminder of her presence, one that lingers in the minds of those who remain. Each guest, having contributed to the evening's social tapestry, now carries their own burdens and secrets back to their rooms, setting the stage for the unfolding mystery. Sir Reginald, a gentleman with a reputation for gambling, walks slowly towards his room. The evening's laughter and revelry now replaced by a gnawing anxiety as thoughts of debts and obligations crowd his mind. His face, once animated with charm, now betrays a hint of worry as he contemplates his next move. The stakes are high, and the pressure of his financial woes weighs heavily on his shoulders. Across the hall, Miss Clara, a young heiress with a sharp intellect and a past shrouded in secrecy, pauses momentarily to admire a painting. Her expression is inscrutable, her thoughts drifting to the coded letter hidden within her luggage. The letter is a reminder of the intricate game she is playing, one where the stakes are equally high and the risks potentially devastating. Meanwhile, Mr. Jameson, a businessman with a polished exterior, lingers in the hallway. His eyes dart to the shadows as if expecting someone to emerge. His thoughts are not of profit, but of opportunity and risk. The evening's conversations have provided him with much to ponder, and he considers how best to leverage the information he has gleaned. In another corridor, Lady Beatrice, an old friend of Lady Ashcroft, stops to listen to the distant echo of footsteps. Her heart is heavy with unspoken guilt and regret, emotions that have accompanied her for many years. The evening's events have stirred memories she would rather forget, and she wonders if the past will remain buried or if it will rise to haunt her once more. As the guests settle into their rooms, the manor itself becomes a character in the unfolding drama. Its creaking floors and whispering walls add to the tension, each sound a reminder of the history contained within these walls. The manor, a silent witness to the events of the evening, holds its breath in anticipation of what is to come. Each room, with its unique decor and history, reflects the personalities of its occupants, adding layers to the narrative. The subchapter closes with a sense of anticipation, the calm before the storm. The guests, unaware of the tragedy that will soon unite them in suspicion and fear, fall into restless sleep. The manor, shrouded in darkness, seems to be aware of the secrets it harbors, its very structure a testament to the mysteries it conceals. The stage is set for the morning's discovery, the final moments of peace before the unraveling begins. This moment in the narrative is crucial, offering readers a deeper understanding of each character, their motives, and the intricate web of relationships that bind them. It serves as a bridge between the lively interactions of the dinner party and the impending mystery, maintaining a seamless flow that keeps readers engaged and eager for the revelations to come. As the night progresses, the manor's ambiance shifts subtly. The moonlight filters through the tall windows, casting elongated shadows that dance across the walls. The silence is punctuated by the occasional creak of the wooden beams, a reminder of the manor's age and the secrets it has witnessed over the years. The guests, nestled in their respective rooms, are left to their thoughts, each contemplating the events of the evening and their own private dilemmas. The reality is that each guest harbors a secret, a hidden facet of their lives that they carefully guard from the others. Lady Eleanor's absence has left an unspoken void, a gap in the evening's proceedings that each guest feels in their own way. Her influence, both subtle and profound, lingers in the air, a testament to her role in the intricate social dance that unfolded over dinner. Imagine you're Sir Reginald, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling as the weight of your debts presses down on you. The evening's joviality now seems distant, replaced by the cold reality of your financial predicament. The cards have not been kind, and the pressure to find a solution is mounting. You know that tomorrow may bring new opportunities, but the risks are ever present, and the margin for error is slim. For Miss Clara, the night is a time for reflection and planning. The coded letter in her possession is a reminder of the stakes she faces, the delicate balance she must maintain to protect her interests. Her sharp mind races through potential scenarios, calculating the best course of action as she prepares for the challenges ahead. Her past, though hidden, is never far from her thoughts, a constant companion in her quest for security and success. Mr. Jameson, ever the strategist, considers the evening's events from every angle. The conversations, the alliances, and the subtle power plays have provided him with valuable insights. His mind is a whirlwind of possibilities, each one a potential path to the success he seeks. He knows that timing is crucial, and as the night deepens, he resolves to seize the opportunities that present themselves. Lady Beatrice, on the other hand, finds herself haunted by memories of the past. The evening's events have stirred emotions she thought long buried, and she grapples with the weight of her unspoken guilt. The manor's walls, once a source of comfort, now seem to close in around her, a reminder of the secrets she has kept hidden for so long. She wonders if the truth will ever come to light, and if so, what the consequences will be. The deciding factor is the manor itself, a character in its own right, with its creaking floors and whispering walls. It holds the secrets of the past and the potential for the future, a silent observer of the drama that unfolds within its walls. As the night draws to a close, the manor seems to hold its breath, aware of the storm that is about to break. The evidence suggests that the guests, though seemingly disparate, are bound together by a complex web of relationships and motives. Each one has a role to play in the unfolding mystery, their individual stories intertwining to create a rich tapestry of intrigue and suspense. As the night gives way to dawn, the stage is set for the revelations to come, the calm before the storm that will change everything. In the end, the guests, now suspects, will find themselves drawn into a web of suspicion and fear, their secrets and motives laid bare for all to see. The manor, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, will continue to watch over the unfolding drama, a silent witness to the events that will forever alter the lives of those within its walls. As the first light of dawn begins to filter through the windows, the manor stands silent, its grand facade concealing the secrets of the night before. The guests, unaware of the tragedy that will soon be discovered, remain in their rooms, their dreams filled with the echoes of the evening's events. The stage is set for the morning's discovery, the final moments of peace before the unraveling begins. Chapter 2, The Morning After. As the first light of dawn crept over Ashcroft Manor, an eerie silence blanketed the estate, broken suddenly by a piercing scream. The maid, trembling and pale, had stumbled upon a grim discovery. Lady Eleanor Ashcroft's lifeless body sprawled on the library floor. Her scream echoed through the grand halls, summoning the guests from their slumber, each one now thrust into a waking nightmare. Gathered in the drawing room, the guests wore expressions of disbelief and fear, their minds grappling with the shock of the morning's revelation. Among them stood Inspector Aldous Vane, a retired detective whose reputation for unraveling mysteries was well known. He stepped forward, his gaze sharp and assessing, ready to piece together the events that had unfolded under the manor's roof. Vane's methodical mind began to work, noting the subtle clues that others might overlook. A book out of place on the library shelf, a smudge on the windowsill, and the faint, lingering scent of almonds, each detail a potential thread in the tapestry of the night's events. As he listened to the guests recount their versions of the evening, inconsistencies emerged, casting suspicion like a shadow over each of them. The tension in the manor was palpable, a living thing that thrived on the fear and uncertainty of those gathered. Vane's presence brought a semblance of order, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos of the morning. Yet beneath his composed exterior, his mind raced, connecting dots and forming theories. Each guest had a motive, a reason to silence Lady Ashcroft, and as Vane delved deeper, the realization dawned. One among them was a murderer. The morning sun crept over the horizon, casting a golden hue over Ashcroft Manor, a grand estate nestled amidst the rolling hills. The manor, with its towering spires and ivy-clad walls, stood as a silent sentinel to the secrets of the night before. As the first rays of dawn filtered through the tall windows, the house seemed to hold its breath, unaware of the storm about to break its tranquil facade. Inside, the air was still, the remnants of the previous night's dinner party lingering in the form of empty glasses and half-burned candles. The guests, a collection of society's elite, were still cocooned in their rooms, oblivious to the tragedy that awaited them. The peace of the early morning was abruptly shattered by a scream, a piercing cry that echoed through the grand corridors. Mary, the young maid, had begun her morning duties with the usual routine. Her footsteps were light as she moved through the manor, dusting and tidying with practiced efficiency. As she entered the library, the room was bathed in a soft amber glow, the shelves lined with books that seemed to whisper their stories. It was here, amidst the shadows and the scent of old leather, that Mary stumbled upon a scene that would forever alter the course of her life. Lady Eleanor Ashcroft, the heart and soul of the gathering, lay slumped over the desk, her once vibrant face now pale and lifeless. The shock of the discovery sent a chill through Mary's veins, her scream involuntary and raw, slicing through the morning calm. It was a sound that summoned the guests from their slumber, drawing them into a world of chaos and confusion. The library quickly became the epicenter of the unfolding drama. Guests emerged from their rooms, their expressions a mix of disbelief and fear. The atmosphere was thick with tension, each person acutely aware of the gravity of the situation. As they gathered, the realization settled in. Lady Ashcroft was gone, and with her, the serenity of their secluded retreat. Inspector Aldous Vane, a retired detective whose presence at the manor was purely coincidental, quickly took command of the scene. Known for his keen eye and logical mind, Vane's reputation for solving the unsolvable preceded him. His calm demeanor brought a semblance of order to the chaos, his voice steady as he addressed the guests. "Please, everyone, gather in the drawing room," Vane instructed, his tone leaving no room for argument. "We must understand what has happened here." The guests obeyed, moving as if in a daze, their minds reeling from the shock. In the drawing room, the atmosphere was charged with suspicion and fear. Each person was a potential suspect, each with their own secrets and motives. Vane's presence, however, was a balm, his methodical approach providing a sense of direction amidst the turmoil. As Vane began his preliminary investigation, he noted several details that would prove crucial in the days to come. The library, a room of shadows and secrets, held its own clues. A book lay misplaced on the floor, its title incongruous with the others on the shelf. A smudge on the windowsill hinted at a clandestine entry or exit, while the faint scent of almonds lingered in the air, a classic indicator of poison. These observations were not lost on Vane, his mind already piecing together the narrative of the night. The guests, too, began to process the implications, their reactions revealing more than they intended. Lord Henry, Lady Ashcroft's estranged brother, appeared visibly shaken, his financial woes no secret among the group. Miss Beatrice, the young ward with a mysterious past, was pale and withdrawn, her earlier argument with Lady Ashcroft now a point of interest. Dr. Whitaker, the family physician, seemed unnerved, his attentiveness to Lady Ashcroft's health now under scrutiny. Mr. Collins, the charming art dealer, maintained a composed exterior, yet his connection to the deceased was the subject of whispered speculation. Each guest's response was a piece of the puzzle, their interactions a tapestry of alliances and enmities. As the morning unfolded, Vane's investigation took shape, his questions probing the depths of each guest's relationship with Lady Ashcroft. The library, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, seemed to hold its breath as Vane worked, his mind a whirl of possibilities and probabilities. What became clear was the complexity of the web that bound these individuals together. The manor, a relic of a bygone era, was more than just a setting for the tragedy. It was a character in its own right, its history intertwined with the lives of those within its walls. The secrets it held were as much a part of the mystery as the clues Vane uncovered. As the subchapter drew to a close, the reader was left with a sense of anticipation, the discovery at dawn a catalyst for the events to come. Vane, with his keen eye and logical mind, was poised to unravel the mystery, his investigation a beacon of hope in the darkness that had descended upon Ashcroft Manor. The transition to the next scene was seamless, Vane preparing to gather the guests for questioning. The stage was set for the gathering of suspects, a crucial step in the unfolding drama. The reader, drawn into the narrative, was left to ponder the intricate web of relationships and secrets that bound these characters to Lady Ashcroft and to each other. In the end, the discovery at dawn was not just the beginning of an investigation. It was a reflection of the hidden tensions and unresolved conflicts within the manor. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting its light over the manor's grand facade, the reader was left with the promise of revelations to come, the mystery deepening with each passing moment. The morning air was crisp, carrying the scent of dew-drenched grass as the manor's inhabitants were roused from their slumber by a piercing scream. The sound sliced through the tranquility of dawn, shattering the silence that had settled over the Ashcroft manor like a shroud. It was the maid, her voice trembling with terror, who had discovered the lifeless form of Lady Eleanor Ashcroft sprawled across the library floor. Her death, as unexpected as it was tragic, cast a shadow over the grand estate, drawing the guests into a web of suspicion and intrigue. In the aftermath of the discovery, the guests gathered in the drawing room, each one a suspect in the unfolding mystery. The room was filled with an uneasy tension, the kind that clings to the air in the moments before a storm. Inspector Aldous Vane, a retired detective whose reputation for solving the unsolvable was well known, had taken charge of the situation. His presence was both reassuring and unsettling, his sharp eyes missing nothing as he surveyed the room. As Vane began to address the assembled guests, the room fell into a hushed silence. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice measured and calm, "it appears we have a most unfortunate situation on our hands. Lady Ashcroft's death is suspicious, and until we can ascertain the truth, everyone here is considered a suspect." The guests shifted uneasily in their seats, exchanging furtive glances. Each had their own secrets, their own reasons for being at the manor, and now each was under scrutiny. Lord Henry Ashcroft sat with a stoic expression, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of anxiety. As Lady Ashcroft's estranged brother, his financial troubles were no secret, and the inheritance was a tempting motive. He cleared his throat, attempting to maintain composure under Vane's penetrating gaze. Miss Beatrice, the young ward with a mysterious past, fidgeted nervously. Her argument with Lady Ashcroft the previous evening had been overheard by several guests, and now whispers of her involvement filled the room. Her eyes darted around, searching for an ally among the faces that surrounded her. Dr. Whitaker, the family physician, appeared unusually tense. His professional demeanor was marred by a slight tremor in his hands, and his attentiveness to Lady Ashcroft's health now seemed suspect. The faint scent of almonds that lingered in the air added an ominous note to his presence, hinting at secrets yet to be uncovered. Mr. Collins, the enigmatic art dealer, exuded a calm confidence that bordered on arrogance. He had been the last to see Lady Ashcroft alive, a fact he acknowledged with a nonchalant shrug. His charm was undeniable, yet there was something unsettling about his demeanor, a sense of detachment that set him apart from the others. Vane, with his meticulous attention to detail, began his initial investigation by observing the room and its occupants. He noted the subtle clues that others might overlook: a misplaced book on a shelf, a smudge on the windowsill, the lingering aroma that suggested something amiss. His methodical approach, rooted in logic and observation, was his greatest asset, and he intended to use it to its fullest. As he moved through the room, Vane engaged each guest in conversation, probing for inconsistencies in their accounts of the previous evening. His questions were direct, yet delivered with a disarming charm that coaxed responses from even the most reticent among them. He listened intently, piecing together the fragments of information that would lead him to the truth. The reality is, in a situation like this, the smallest detail can be the key to unraveling the mystery. Vane understood this better than anyone, and his keen eyes missed nothing. He observed the way Lord Henry's hands trembled slightly as he spoke, the way Miss Beatrice's voice wavered when questioned about her argument with Lady Ashcroft. He noted Dr. Whitaker's nervous glances and Mr. Collins' casual demeanor, each a piece of the puzzle that was slowly taking shape in his mind. More importantly, Vane understood the importance of context. The manor, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, seemed to hold its breath as he delved deeper into the lives of the suspects. The guests, each with their own motives and secrets, were a part of a larger narrative, one that Vane was determined to uncover. As the morning light filtered through the tall windows, casting long shadows across the room, Vane continued his investigation. He knew that time was of the essence, that the truth lay hidden beneath layers of deception and intrigue. But he also knew that patience and persistence were his greatest allies, and he was prepared to see the investigation through to its conclusion. Let's say you find yourself in a similar situation, where the truth is obscured by a web of lies and deceit. The important thing to remember is that every detail matters. Observations show that by paying attention to the subtle clues and inconsistencies, you can begin to piece together the larger picture. This provides good results, as it allows you to see beyond the surface and uncover the hidden truths that lie beneath. In the end, it was a single, overlooked detail that cracked the case wide open. The resolution, both shocking and inevitable, brought the events of the night into sharp focus, leaving the guests to ponder the thin line between appearance and reality. As Vane pieced together the final elements of the puzzle, the truth emerged, revealing the hidden depths of human nature and the lengths to which people will go to protect their secrets. As the sun set once more over the manor, casting the estate in a golden glow, the echoes of the past lingered, a reminder of the night when the woman who died before dawn revealed the hidden depths of human nature. The guests, now free from suspicion, were left to reflect on the events that had transpired, their lives forever changed by the revelations of the day. In the quiet aftermath, Vane took a moment to reflect on the investigation, his thoughts turning to the lessons learned and the truths uncovered. He knew that the manor, with its secrets and shadows, would continue to hold its mysteries, but for now, the case was closed, and justice had been served. The morning sun barely crested the horizon, casting long, haunting shadows across the Ashcroft Manor. The grand estate, with its towering turrets and sprawling gardens, seemed to hold its breath, shrouded in an eerie stillness. Inside, the air was thick with anticipation and unspoken dread, as Inspector Aldous Vane prepared to unravel the mystery that had settled over the manor like a dark cloud. Vane, a man of composed authority and keen intellect, was no stranger to the complexities of human nature. His reputation for solving the unsolvable preceded him, and as he gathered the guests in the drawing room, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Each face in the room was a canvas of emotions: fear, suspicion, and a hint of defiance. The guests, still clad in their evening attire from the night before, were a tableau of society's elite, now thrust into the uncomfortable role of suspects. The drawing room, with its high ceilings and opulent decor, was a stark contrast to the grim task at hand. Vane's eyes swept the room, noting the subtle cues: the nervous fidgeting of Lady Margaret with her pearl necklace, Colonel Fitzwilliam's rigid posture, and the inscrutable gaze of Mr. Blackwood, the enigmatic artist. Each detail, though seemingly insignificant, was a potential thread in the tapestry of the investigation. Vane began his inquiry with a methodical calm, starting with the library, the scene of the crime. The library, once a sanctuary of knowledge and retreat, now felt oppressive, its secrets hidden among the towering shelves of books. The scent of aged paper mingled with the faint aroma of cigar smoke, creating an ambiance of timeless mystery. As Vane examined the room, he noted the position of Lady Ashcroft's body, the overturned chair, and the scattered books. Each element was a piece of the puzzle, waiting to be placed in the right context. The detective's keen eyes scanned the room for overlooked details: a smudge on the windowsill, a misplaced book, the faint scent of almonds lingering in the air. These subtle clues, though easily dismissed by the untrained eye, were vital to unraveling the mystery. With the initial examination of the scene complete, Vane turned his attention to the guests. Each had a distinct personality and a potential motive, and Vane's approach was both analytical and empathetic. He listened intently to their accounts, probing for inconsistencies and subtle discrepancies. The guests, aware of the scrutiny, offered their stories with varying degrees of confidence and apprehension. Lady Margaret, the young socialite, was the first to speak. Her voice, though steady, betrayed a hint of nervousness. She recounted the events of the previous evening, her eyes darting nervously around the room. Vane noted her fidgeting with her necklace, a subconscious gesture that spoke volumes about her state of mind. Colonel Fitzwilliam, the retired military officer, was next. His account was precise, almost rehearsed, as he described his interactions with Lady Ashcroft. His face, a mask of inscrutability, offered little in the way of emotion, yet Vane sensed an underlying tension, a rivalry perhaps, that hinted at deeper roots. The butler, Mr. Thompson, provided a new piece of information, a faint argument heard late at night, a detail omitted by others. This revelation added a new layer to the investigation, prompting Vane to delve deeper into the dynamics among the guests. Miss Clara, the governess, offered another perspective. She recalled seeing a shadowy figure in the hallway, but could not identify who it was. This vague recollection, though frustratingly incomplete, was another thread in the intricate web of intrigue. As Vane conducted his initial round of questioning, he began to see patterns emerging. The stories, though superficially consistent, contained small cracks, discrepancies that hinted at hidden truths. Vane's internal monologue provided insight into his thought process, revealing a detective who was both analytical and empathetic. He reflected on the nature of truth and deception, aware that the line between the two was often blurred. The investigation also revealed the personal dynamics and hidden tensions among the guests. Vane observed the strained relationship between Mr. Blackwood and Lady Ashcroft, hinting at a past grievance. Meanwhile, the tension between Lady Margaret and Colonel Fitzwilliam suggested a rivalry that may have deeper roots. Each interaction, each observation, added depth to the narrative, painting a complex picture of the relationships at play. Throughout the subchapter, the storytelling maintained a tone of suspense, weaving a narrative that kept readers on edge. Vane's internal monologue provided insight into his thought process, revealing a detective who was both analytical and empathetic. He reflected on the nature of truth and deception, aware that the line between the two is often blurred. As the subchapter concluded, Vane gathered his notes, his mind piecing together the puzzle. He knew that the key to solving the mystery lay not just in the physical evidence, but in understanding the human heart. The stage was set for deeper revelations in the subsequent subchapters, as Vane inched closer to uncovering the truth behind Lady Ashcroft's untimely demise. Vane's investigation, though still in its initial stages, had already begun to reveal the complexities of the case. The guests, with their intertwined histories and hidden motives, were a microcosm of society's elite, each carrying their own secrets and grievances. The manor, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, seemed to hold its breath as Vane pieced together the puzzle. The investigation revealed a web of intrigue, where alliances were formed and broken, and truths were hidden beneath layers of lies. Vane's methodical approach, rooted in logic and observation, led him to the one detail that did not fit, the glitch in the narrative that pointed to the truth. In the end, it was a single overlooked detail that cracked the case wide open. The resolution, both shocking and inevitable, brought the events of the night into sharp focus, leaving the guests to ponder the thin line between appearance and reality. As the sun set once more over the manor, the echoes of the past lingered, a reminder of the night when the woman who died before dawn revealed the hidden depths of human nature. Chapter 3: Unraveling Secrets. The manor's drawing room was a theater of tension, where Inspector Vane's sharp gaze pierced through the polished facades of its guests. The air was thick with anticipation as he began his meticulous interrogations, each question a scalpel peeling back layers of deception. The first to face Vane's scrutiny was Lord Henry, whose recent financial woes had been the talk of the town. His demeanor, usually composed, now betrayed a flicker of unease. Miss Beatrice, the enigmatic ward, followed. Her eyes, shadowed with secrets, darted nervously as she recounted her movements. Vane noted her evasive answers, each one a thread in the tapestry of intrigue he was unraveling. Then came Dr. Whitaker, whose unusual attentiveness to Lady Ashcroft's health raised more questions than it answered. His clinical detachment seemed at odds with his earlier anxiety. Finally, Mr. Collins, the charming art dealer, sat across from Vane. His suave exterior barely concealed the hint of something darker. Vane's questions danced around the edges of his enigmatic charm, probing for the truth beneath. As Vane pieced together these disparate narratives, an unexpected clue emerged, a seemingly insignificant detail, a smudge on a book's spine, overlooked by all but him. It was the key to a new direction, a revelation that shifted the investigation's course. The guests, once united in their social standing, now eyed each other with suspicion, alliances fraying under the weight of revealed truths. The stakes were high, and Vane knew the truth, when uncovered, would be both shocking and inevitable. The morning sun crept through the heavy drapes of Ashford Manor's grand drawing room, casting long, ominous shadows that danced across the polished floor. The room, usually a place of genteel conversation and refined manners, now served as a stage for a drama far more intense than any society gathering. Inspector Aldous Vane stood before the assembled guests, his presence commanding, his expression grave. His voice, steady yet edged with urgency, cut through the tension like a knife. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his eyes sweeping over the semicircle of faces, each marked by varying degrees of indignation and apprehension. "We are here to uncover the truth behind the tragic events of last night. Your cooperation is not just requested, it is essential." The guests exchanged uneasy glances, each acutely aware that their secrets were on the brink of exposure. The room held its breath as Vane outlined the process of his investigation, emphasizing the importance of honesty. It was clear that beneath their polished facades lay layers of deception waiting to be unraveled. Lord Henry's interrogation. Vane's first subject was Lord Henry, a man whose financial troubles had been whispered about in society circles. As he took his place in the spotlight, his hands betrayed his nervousness, fidgeting with the cuffs of his tailored jacket. Vane's questions were probing, each one a deliberate step toward uncovering the truth. "Lord Henry," Vane began, his tone even, "can you recount your activities last night?" Lord Henry cleared his throat, a slight quiver in his voice. "I spent the evening in the company of our hostess and the other guests. After dinner I retired to the study." Vane's keen eyes noted the discrepancies in Lord Henry's account. "And you did not see Lady Ashcroft again after dinner?" A pause, just a fraction too long. "No, I did not." The inspector leaned forward slightly. "Yet several guests recall you leaving the study shortly after Lady Ashcroft excused herself to the library. Can you explain this?" Lord Henry's face flushed. I might have stepped out briefly, but I assure you, I did not see her." The inconsistencies in his timeline hinted at a motive tied to his desperation for funds, a motive that could not be ignored: Miss Beatrice's interrogation. Next, Vane turned his attention to Miss Beatrice, the young ward whose mysterious past had long been a subject of speculation. Her demeanor was cool, her gaze unwavering, yet Vane's questions gradually chipped away at her defenses. "Miss Beatrice, your relationship with Lady Ashcroft was well known to be complex," Vane stated, watching her reaction closely. "Can you elaborate on the nature of your connection?" Beatrice hesitated, a flicker of emotion crossing her face. "We had our differences, Inspector. She was my guardian, but we did not always see eye to eye. And yet, there was a particular incident last night that seemed to heighten tensions between you," Vane pressed. Beatrice's composure slipped momentarily. "We had a disagreement, yes, but it was nothing more than that." Vane's persistence paid off as Beatrice revealed a past connection to Lady Ashcroft, fraught with unresolved tension and jealousy, adding a new layer to the investigation. Dr. Whitaker's interrogation. Dr. Whitaker, the family physician, was next. His unusual attentiveness the previous night had not gone unnoticed. Vane's questions were sharp, seeking to understand the nature of his interest in Lady Ashcroft's health. "Dr. Whitaker, you seemed particularly attentive to Lady Ashcroft last night. Was there a reason for your concern?" Vane inquired. Whitaker's responses were measured, his professional demeanor unwavering. "As her physician, it was my duty to ensure her well-being." "And yet, you were observed entering the library shortly before her death," Vane noted. A slip of the tongue betrayed him. I was merely checking on her." Vane's eyes narrowed. "Checking on her, or something else? Did you have knowledge of her health that others did not?" The suggestion hung in the air, a thread that Vane knew he needed to pull to unravel the truth. Mr. Collins' interrogation. Finally, Vane turned to Mr. Collins, the enigmatic art dealer whose charm had kept him at the periphery of suspicion. Collins was suave, his smile disarming, but Vane's incisive questioning soon uncovered inconsistencies in his timeline. "Mr. Collins, you were the last to see Lady Ashcroft alive. Can you describe your encounter?" Vane asked. Collins leaned back, a picture of nonchalance. We spoke briefly in the library. She seemed preoccupied. Preoccupied? Vane echoed. And what did you discuss? Oh, just art, the usual. Collins replied with a casual wave of his hand. A casual remark about a missing item in the library piqued Vane's interest. You mentioned something was missing. What was it? Collins hesitated, caught off guard. A book, I believe, but I didn't think much of it at the time. The mention of the missing item hinted at a connection yet to be fully understood, a clue that could tie the threads of the mystery together. Key revelations. As each interrogation unfolded, Vane began to see patterns emerge. The guests' stories, while initially disparate, started to interlock like pieces of a puzzle. The tension in the room mounted, with each revelation casting doubt on previous assumptions. Vane's methodical approach uncovered a critical piece of evidence, a personal item of Lady Ashcroft, found in an unexpected location, suggesting a clandestine meeting that could be the key to solving the mystery, emotional journey. The guests experienced a roller coaster of emotions, fear, defensiveness, and ultimately resignation, as their secrets were laid bare. Vane's calm yet relentless pursuit of the truth created an atmosphere of inevitability, where each guest had to confront their own culpability in the events leading to Lady Ashcroft's death. The drawing room, once a sanctuary of elegance, now felt like a courtroom, with Vane as both judge and jury. Conclusion. The subchapter closed with Vane reflecting on the tangled web of relationships he had uncovered. He sensed he was on the brink of a breakthrough, but the final piece of the puzzle remained elusive. The guests, now more divided than ever, eyed each other with suspicion, aware that the truth was closer than ever to being revealed. The air was thick with anticipation, as each person wondered who among them held the key to the mystery that had shattered the peace of Ashcroft Manor. In the heart of the Ashcroft Manor, where whispers of the past lingered in every corner, Inspector Aldous Vane stood amidst a gathering of anxious faces. The drawing room, once a place of elegant conversation and laughter, now felt heavy with suspicion. As the early morning light filtered through the tall windows, it illuminated the tension etched on each guest's face, casting long shadows that seemed to dance with deceit. Picture this situation. A grand manor, isolated yet majestic, where secrets have been nurtured over generations. The night before had been filled with laughter and clinking glasses, but now the air was thick with the scent of fear and uncertainty. Lady Eleanor Ashcroft, the vibrant hostess, lay dead, and the library, a room she had filled with her presence, now stood silent, a keeper of secrets. Inspector Vane, known for his razor-sharp mind and unyielding pursuit of truth, began his inquiry with a calm demeanor that belied the storm brewing beneath. His approach was methodical, each step deliberate, as he sought to untangle the web of deceit that had ensnared the guests. As Vane initiated his interrogations, the drawing room became a stage where each suspect played their part. The inspector's questions were precise, his eyes never missing a flicker of hesitation or a glance exchanged. He started with Lord Henry, whose strained relationship with his sister was no secret. The financial strain he faced was a motive that could not be ignored. Lord Henry, Vane began, his voice steady, can you recount your movements after the dinner party? Lord Henry, a man whose confidence had been eroded by years of financial misfortune, shifted uneasily. I retired to my room shortly after our conversation in the library, he replied, his voice tinged with defensiveness. Vane nodded, noting the slight tremor in Henry's hands. And did you see anyone else in the library after you left? No, I did not, Henry replied, a hint of anger flaring in his eyes. I was alone. Next was Miss Beatrice, the young ward with a shadowed past. Her presence at the manor was a subject of much speculation, and her argument with Lady Ashcroft the previous evening had not gone unnoticed. Miss Beatrice, Vane continued, can you tell me about your disagreement with Lady Ashcroft? Beatrice hesitated, her gaze dropping to her hands. It was nothing of consequence, she murmured, just a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding that led to raised voices? Vane pressed, his tone gentle yet insistent. Beatrice looked up, her eyes meeting Vane's with a defiance that belied her youth. Yes, but it was resolved. I went to my room after. As the interrogations progressed, Vane's attention turned to Dr. Whitaker, the family physician whose concern for Lady Ashcroft's health had seemed unusually intense. Vane's questions probed deeper, seeking to uncover any hidden motives. Dr. Whitaker, you were quite attentive to Lady Ashcroft's health. Was there something specific that concerned you? The doctor, a man whose calm demeanor was now strained, replied, Lady Ashcroft had been under stress, but nothing life-threatening. I was merely ensuring her well-being. And did you prescribe anything for her stress? Vane asked, his gaze unwavering. Whitaker hesitated, a slight furrow appearing on his brow. Just a mild sedative, nothing more. Vane noted the hesitation, a small detail that could prove significant. Finally, he turned to Mr. Collins, the enigmatic art dealer whose charm masked an inscrutable nature. Mr. Collins, you were the last to see Lady Ashcroft alive. Can you describe your interaction with her? Collins, his demeanor as smooth as ever, replied, We discussed art, as we often did. She was in good spirits when I left. And did you notice anything unusual in the library? Vane asked, his question pointed. Collins shook his head, a faint smile playing on his lips. Nothing at all. As Vane pieced together the puzzle, the manor itself seemed to conspire with him, its creaking floors and whispering walls offering up their secrets. The inspector's keen eyes caught a detail others had overlooked, a misplaced book on the library shelf, its spine cracked as if recently read. Vane's mind raced, connecting the dots between the subtle clues. The scent of almonds, faint yet unmistakable, lingered in the air, a telltale sign of cyanide. It was a detail that had eluded the others but not Vane. His methodical approach, rooted in logic and observation, had led him to the truth. In a dramatic turn, Vane gathered the guests once more, the tension palpable. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, his voice cutting through the silence, I have uncovered the truth behind Lady Ashcroft's untimely death. The room held its breath as Vane revealed the murderer, a revelation that sent shockwaves through the assembled guests. It was Dr. Whitaker, whose mild sedative had been laced with poison, a desperate act driven by unrequited love and jealousy. The confession, when it came, was both shocking and inevitable. Whitaker's motives, hidden beneath layers of professional concern, were laid bare, his actions a testament to the thin line between love and obsession. As Whitaker was led away, the guests were left to ponder the events of the night, their perceptions of reality forever altered. The manor, once a symbol of stability and grace, had become a stage for betrayal and deceit. As the sun set once more over the estate, the echoes of the past lingered, a reminder of the night when the woman who died before dawn revealed the hidden depths of human nature. The guests, now free of suspicion, were left to reflect on the fragile nature of trust and the complexities of the human heart. In the end, it was a single, overlooked detail that had cracked the case wide open, a testament to the power of observation and the relentless pursuit of truth. Inspector Vane's reputation for solving the unsolvable remained intact, his legacy a beacon of justice in a world where appearances often deceive. Inspector Aldous Vane sat alone in the library, the room still echoing with the whispers of the previous night's tragedy. The air was thick with the scent of old books, mingling with the faint aroma of cigar smoke that lingered from the dinner party. The scene was set for reflection, a moment of quiet before the storm of revelation. Vane's mind was a whirl of thoughts, each interview replaying in his mind like a film reel. The tangled web of relationships and motives was slowly unraveling, yet the picture remained incomplete. The library was a room of shadows, its walls lined with the weight of history. It was here, amidst the chaos of discarded glasses and half-burned candles, that Lady Eleanor Ashcroft had been found dead. The room was a silent witness to secrets long buried, now on the brink of being unearthed. Vane's eyes scanned the scattered notes before him, searching for the thread that would tie everything together. And then, there it was, a small, ornate brooch lying near the fireplace, its presence as puzzling as it was unexpected. The brooch was an intricate piece, its design unique and unmistakable. None of the guests had claimed it during the initial search, a detail that now stood out with glaring significance. Vane recalled Lady Ashcroft mentioning a similar piece during the dinner, a family heirloom that had been missing for years. The realization hit him with the force of a revelation. This brooch could be the key, the unexpected clue that would unlock the mystery and link the murderer to the crime scene. With newfound determination, Vane decided to revisit the guests. Armed with this clue, he intended to gauge their reactions, to probe deeper into their alibis. The brooch was not just a piece of jewelry. It was a catalyst, a spark that could ignite the truth hidden beneath layers of deception. Lord Henry was the first to be confronted. His demeanor, already frayed by financial woes, crumbled further at the sight of the brooch. His eyes darted nervously, betraying a guilt that words could not conceal. Vane pressed him gently, his questions probing yet respectful, understanding the delicate balance between accusation and inquiry. Lord Henry's anxiety was palpable, his responses clipped and defensive, as if each word was a struggle against an unseen force. Next was Miss Beatrice, her guarded demeanor a mask that slipped momentarily as Vane presented the brooch. A flicker of recognition crossed her face, quickly masked by a veil of indifference. Yet to Vane's trained eye, the moment was telling. Her past, shrouded in mystery, seemed to cast a long shadow over the present. Vane's questions were met with calculated responses, each answer a carefully constructed barrier against the truth. Dr. Whitaker was a man of composure, his professional facade rarely showing cracks. Yet in the presence of the brooch, he faltered. It was a brief lapse, an uncharacteristic moment of distraction that did not escape Vane's notice. The doctor, usually attentive and precise, seemed momentarily lost in thought, as if grappling with a memory that refused to stay buried. Vane's inquiries were met with a surface calm, but beneath lay a turmoil that hinted at deeper involvement. Then came Mr. Collins, the enigmatic art dealer whose charm was as compelling as it was disarming. His reaction to the brooch was nuanced, a subtle shift in demeanor that spoke volumes. He maintained his enigmatic charm, yet there was a hint of unease, a crack in the veneer that suggested more than he let on. Vane's questions danced around the edges of truth and deception, each one designed to unsettle the delicate balance of Collins's composure. As Vane navigated these interactions, he noticed the subtle shifts in the guest's behavior. Nervous glances were exchanged, whispered conversations abruptly silenced when he entered the room. The brooch had disrupted the fragile alliances formed among the guests, unsettling the delicate equilibrium that had maintained their facade of civility. The manor, once a bastion of opulence and security, now felt like a pressure cooker, ready to explode with the slightest provocation. The tension reached its peak as Vane confronted the person he believed to be the owner of the brooch. The confrontation was charged with emotion, a battle of wills that played out in the hushed confines of the library. The suspect's facade crumbled under the weight of their guilt, the carefully constructed lies unraveling in the face of undeniable truth. The unexpected clue had not only provided a breakthrough in the case, but it also exposed the underlying tensions and truths simmering beneath the surface. With the confrontation behind him, Vane prepared to gather the guests once more. The library, scene of the crime and now the stage for revelation, awaited the final act. The unexpected clue had brought clarity to the chaos, propelling the narrative toward its inevitable conclusion. Vane's mind was a tapestry of connections, each thread leading to the heart of the mystery. As the guests assembled, their faces a mixture of anticipation and dread, Vane stood ready to reveal the murderer and the events that led to Lady Ashcroft's untimely death. The brooch, the linchpin of the investigation, had turned the tide, bringing the truth into sharp focus. The air was thick with expectation, the room silent save for the ticking of the grandfather clock, each second a countdown to revelation. In the quiet of the library, Vane's voice carried the weight of authority and finality. He recounted the events of the night, each detail meticulously pieced together to form a coherent narrative. The murderer, now unmasked, stood exposed, their motives laid bare for all to see. The guests listened, rapt and silent, as the truth unfolded before them, a tapestry of human nature in all its complexity. The unexpected clue had served its purpose, a beacon of clarity amidst the fog of deception. The manor, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief as the mystery reached its resolution. The guests, left to ponder the thin line between appearance and reality, were forever changed by the events of the night. As the sun set once more over the manor, the echoes of the past lingered, a reminder of the night when the woman who died before dawn revealed the hidden depths of human nature. Inspector Aldous Vane, with his keen eye for detail and unwavering resolve, had brought light to the shadows, leaving the manor and its inhabitants to face a new dawn. Chapter 4: The Truth Revealed. The drawing room was suffused with an air of anticipation as Inspector Vane, with his characteristic poise, stood before the assembled guests. The room, once filled with laughter and camaraderie, now felt like a pressure cooker of tension and suspense. Each guest, a potential suspect, sat in silence, the weight of the moment palpable. Vane began to speak, his voice calm yet commanding. "Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is often elusive, hidden beneath layers of deception. Tonight, we uncover it." With precision, he reconstructed the events of the night, each detail meticulously laid out. The misplaced book, the smudge on the windowsill, and the faint scent of almonds all formed a tapestry of evidence that pointed to one individual. As Vane's narrative unfolded, the room seemed to close in on itself, the walls echoing the truth that was about to be revealed. The murderer, unmasked, was none other than Dr. Whitaker. His motives, rooted in jealousy and ambition, were laid bare for all to see. The guests, stunned into silence, grappled with the revelation that someone so trusted could harbor such dark intentions. With the murderer apprehended, the guests were left to ponder the thin line between appearance and reality. The resolution brought a sense of closure, yet the shadows of the past lingered, a reminder of the night's events. As the sun set once more over the manor, the guests departed, forever changed by the woman who died before dawn and the secrets she took with her. The drawing room of Ashford Manor was a tableau of tension and anticipation, each guest seated in a semicircle as Inspector Aldous Vane took his place at the center. The morning's events had cast a shadow over the grandeur of the room, transforming its opulent furnishings into mere backdrops for the unfolding drama. The air was thick with unspoken accusations, the kind that linger in the corners of a room, waiting to be acknowledged. Vane, with his hawk-like gaze, surveyed the assembly. His presence was commanding, a blend of quiet authority and keen insight. He cleared his throat, the sound cutting through the silence like a knife. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice steady and measured, "we are gathered here to confront the truth of what transpired last night. Each of you has a story, a version of events that paints you in a certain light. But the truth, as we know, often hides in the shadows." The guests shifted uneasily in their seats, their eyes darting towards one another. Lord Henry, with his brooding demeanor, sat rigidly, his hands clasped tightly in his lap. Miss Beatrice, youthful and seemingly innocent, fidgeted with the hem of her dress, her eyes downcast. Dr. Whitaker, usually composed, appeared unusually tense, while Mr. Collins maintained an air of detached curiosity, his expression inscrutable. Vane continued, "Lady Eleanor Ashford was a formidable woman, one who inspired both admiration and envy. Her untimely death is not just a tragedy, but a puzzle, one that I intend to solve with your cooperation." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle. "In my initial investigation, I uncovered several inconsistencies. Each of you has a motive, a reason why Lady Ashcroft's silence might benefit you. Yet it is the small details, the seemingly insignificant clues, that often reveal the most." He turned his attention to Lord Henry. "Lord Ashcroft, your financial difficulties are well documented. The inheritance you stood to gain from your sister's demise is substantial. How do you explain this?" Lord Henry's face flushed with indignation. "I admit my financial affairs are not in the best order, Inspector, but I would never harm Eleanor. She was my sister, for heaven's sake." Vane nodded, acknowledging the protest. "And yet, desperation can drive a man to unthinkable actions. But let's move on." He shifted his gaze to Miss Beatrice. "Miss Beatrice, you were seen arguing with Lady Ashcroft yesterday evening. What was the nature of your disagreement?" Beatrice's voice was barely above a whisper. "It was a personal matter, Inspector. Lady Ashcroft was like a mother to me, and we had our differences, but I would never wish her harm." "A personal matter?" Vane prompted, his tone inviting further explanation. She disapproved of my relationship with someone she deemed unsuitable," Beatrice admitted, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "I see," Vane replied, making a note. "And Dr. Whitaker, your concern for Lady Ashcroft's health was noted by several guests. You were particularly attentive, were you not?" Dr. Whitaker adjusted his glasses nervously. "As her physician, it was my duty to ensure her well-being. I was merely doing my job, Inspector. Indeed, Vane said, his eyes narrowing slightly. Yet, your attentiveness seemed to extend beyond professional obligations. Finally, Vane turned to Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins, you were the last to see Lady Ashcroft alive. What can you tell us about your interaction with her that evening? Collins leaned back in his chair, a faint smile playing on his lips. Lady Ashcroft and I shared a mutual appreciation for art. We discussed a potential acquisition for her collection. Our conversation was purely professional, I assure you. And yet, Vane pressed, you were seen leaving the library at a rather late hour. Can you account for your whereabouts afterward? I took a walk in the gardens to clear my head, Collins replied smoothly. The evening was quite stifling, as you might recall. Vane nodded, seemingly satisfied, yet his expression remained thoughtful. He paced the room, his mind piecing together the fragments of the puzzle. Now let us consider the evidence, he said, stopping abruptly. A misplaced book, a smudge on the windowsill, and the faint scent of almonds. Each of these elements tells a story. The guests exchanged puzzled glances, the significance of Vane's words eluding them. The inspector continued, his voice gaining momentum. The book, found on the floor, was not one Lady Ashcroft had been reading. It belonged to our esteemed Dr. Whitaker, a volume on toxicology, no less. Dr. Whitaker paled visibly, his composure cracking. I must have left it there by mistake, he stammered. Perhaps, Vane conceded, but combined with the smudge on the windowsill, it paints a different picture. A smudge that matches the residue found on your gloves, Dr. Whitaker. The room fell silent, the implications of Vane's deductions sinking in. And the scent of almonds, Vane continued, is often associated with cyanide, a poison that can be administered discreetly, as you well know. Dr. Whitaker's protest was immediate, yet unconvincing. This is preposterous. I would never— Vane raised a hand, silencing him. The evidence speaks for itself, Doctor. Your attentiveness to Lady Ashcroft's health was not out of concern, but out of necessity. You feared she might discover your deceit, your embezzlement of her funds to cover your gambling debts. The guests gasped, the revelation sending ripples through the room. Dr. Whitaker's facade crumbled, his guilt laid bare. I didn't mean to, he confessed, his voice barely audible. It was an accident. I only meant to make her ill, to buy myself time. Yet your actions led to her death, Vane concluded, his tone somber, a tragic consequence of your desperation. As Dr. Whitaker was escorted from the room, the remaining guests sat in stunned silence, the reality of the situation settling over them. Vane addressed them once more, his voice gentle yet firm. Let this be a lesson in the dangers of deceit and the thin line between appearance and reality. The guests nodded, their expressions a mix of relief and introspection. The truth, though painful, had been revealed, and with it, the shadows that had lingered over Ashcroft Manor began to dissipate. As the sun set once more over the manor, casting a golden glow over its ancient stones, the echoes of the past lingered. The guests, now free to leave, carried with them the memory of the woman who died before dawn, a reminder of the hidden depths of human nature and the consequences of their choices. As the sun dipped below the horizon, cloaking the Ashcroft Manor in the deepening hues of twilight, the air was thick with a tension that seemed to pulse through the very walls. Inside, the drawing room was filled with the hum of low voices. The guests gathered in a semicircle, their eyes fixed on Inspector Aldous Vane. The room, with its rich mahogany paneling and dimly lit chandeliers, felt like a stage set for the final act of a drama that had unfolded with tragic precision. Ladies and gentlemen, Vane began, his voice carrying a quiet authority that commanded attention. We are here to resolve the events that transpired on the night of Lady Eleanor Ashcroft's untimely demise. Each of you has been under scrutiny, and now the truth must come to light. The guests exchanged uneasy glances. Lord Henry shifted in his seat, his face a mask of stoic resignation. Miss Beatrice, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, seemed to retreat into herself, while Dr. Whitaker adjusted his glasses, his eyes darting nervously around the room. Mr. Collins, ever the picture of calm, offered a wry smile, his expression betraying nothing. Vane's investigation had been a masterclass in deduction, his keen observational skills peeling back the layers of deception like an expert surgeon. Each interview, each subtle clue, had been meticulously analyzed, bringing him closer to the heart of the mystery. The critical element was not just in the evidence itself, but in the context and connections he drew from it. Consider this scenario, Vane continued, his gaze sweeping across the room. A woman of Lady Ashcroft's stature, sharp and perceptive, would not easily fall prey to a simple plot. Yet, it was something overlooked, something seemingly insignificant, that became the key to unraveling this enigma. The room held its collective breath as Vane paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle. He reached into his pocket and retrieved a small vial, holding it up for all to see. "A scent of almonds," he said, his voice measured. "Cyanide, a poison with a distinct aroma, was detected in the library, but it was not administered in the obvious manner one might expect. Instead, it was cleverly disguised, hidden in plain sight." The guests leaned in, the tension palpable. Vane's revelation was both unexpected and chilling, casting a new light on the events of that fateful night. "The book," Vane continued, turning his attention to a particular volume that had been found misplaced on the library shelf. A rare edition of The Art of War, strategically placed to draw Lady Ashcroft's attention. Within its pages, a thin layer of cyanide had been applied, ensuring that the poison would transfer onto her fingers and eventually to her lips. A collective gasp echoed through the room. The method was as ingenious as it was sinister, a testament to the cunning of the perpetrator. But who among us would have the knowledge and motive to execute such a plan? Vane asked, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the faces before him. The answer lies in understanding the dynamics of power and influence, the hidden currents that shaped the relationships within this manor. He turned his gaze to Dr. Whitaker, whose complexion had turned an ashen shade of gray. The doctor's hands trembled slightly, the facade of calm crumbling under Vane's scrutiny. "Dr. Whitaker," Vane addressed him directly, "your attentiveness to Lady Ashcroft's health was noted, yet it was your knowledge of chemistry and access to the library that aroused my suspicion. The motive, however, was more personal than professional." Whitaker's eyes widened, his protest caught in his throat. Vane continued, his voice unwavering. "It is known that Lady Ashcroft intended to revise her will, a decision that would have affected many, including yourself. The fear of losing both status and financial support drove you to an act of desperation." The room was silent, the weight of Vane's accusation hanging heavily in the air. Whitaker's shoulders slumped, the fight leaving him as he realized the inevitability of his situation. "I never wanted it to come to this," Whitaker finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "But Eleanor was going to cut me off. I couldn't let that happen." Vane nodded, his expression one of solemn understanding. "The truth, while painful, must be acknowledged. Justice for Lady Ashcroft demands it." As Whitaker was led away, the remaining guests were left to ponder the fragile nature of human relationships, the thin line between appearance and reality. The resolution of the case, both shocking and inevitable, had peeled back the veneer of civility, revealing the raw, unvarnished truth beneath. In the aftermath, as the guests dispersed, the manor seemed to exhale, its secrets finally laid bare. The echoes of the past lingered, a haunting reminder of the night when the woman who died before dawn exposed the hidden depths of human nature. And as the sun set once more over the manor, casting long shadows across the grounds, Inspector Vane stood alone, gazing out over the landscape. The investigation had come to a close, but the lessons learned would linger. A testament to the complexity of the human heart and the enduring quest for truth. In the dim light of dawn, the Ashcroft Manor stood as a silent sentinel against the awakening sky. Its grandeur, a relic of a more opulent past, seemed to whisper secrets of the night before. The manor, nestled amid rolling hills and dense woods, had been the stage for an elegant dinner party just hours earlier. Now, as the first rays of sunlight pierced through the tall windows, the manor's secrets began to unravel. The night had been filled with laughter and lively conversation, Lady Eleanor Ashcroft at its center, her sharp wit keeping the guests entertained. But as the evening waned, the atmosphere shifted, shadows lengthening in the library where Lady Ashcroft had retreated. It was here, amid the leather-bound volumes and flickering candlelight, that the seeds of tragedy were sown. As the guests retired to their rooms, each carrying their own burdens of secrets and motives, the manor settled into an uneasy quiet. The silence was shattered with the first scream of the morning. The maid, her face pale with shock, had discovered Lady Ashcroft's lifeless body sprawled on the library floor. The news spread quickly, pulling the guests from their slumber into a world suddenly filled with suspicion and dread. Inspector Aldous Vane, a retired detective known for his meticulous attention to detail, found himself thrust into the heart of the investigation. His reputation for solving the unsolvable had preceded him, and now, among the guests, he stood as the only beacon of clarity in the chaos. Vane's keen eyes scanned the room, noting the subtle clues that others might overlook. A misplaced book, a smudge on the windowsill, the faint scent of almonds that lingered in the air. Gathered in the drawing room, the guests were a motley crew of society's elite, each with their own reasons to want Lady Ashcroft silenced. Lord Henry, her estranged brother, was known to be in dire financial straits, a motive that could not be ignored. Miss Beatrice, the young ward with a mysterious past, had been seen arguing with Lady Ashcroft earlier that evening, an argument that now seemed more sinister in light of the morning's events. Dr. Whitaker, the family physician, had been unusually attentive to Lady Ashcroft's health, his demeanor now unnerved and suspicious. And then there was Mr. Collins, the charming but enigmatic art dealer, who had been the last to see her alive. Inspector Vane began his investigation with a methodical approach, rooted in logic and observation. He conducted interviews with each guest, uncovering hidden motives and past grievances. The guests, once united by their social standing, now eyed each other with suspicion, the veneer of civility quickly eroding under the weight of accusation. As Vane delved deeper, a complex web of relationships and deceit began to emerge. Alliances were formed and broken, truths hidden beneath layers of lies. The manor, with its creaking floors and whispering walls, seemed to hold its breath as Vane pieced together the puzzle. The investigation revealed a tapestry of intrigue, where every thread led to another, more tangled than the last. In the midst of this web, Vane found an unexpected clue, a seemingly insignificant detail that others had overlooked. It was this detail, a single thread that did not fit, that began to unravel the mystery. The faint scent of almonds, a detail dismissed by others, pointed to the presence of cyanide, a poison known for its bitter almond smell. This revelation turned the investigation on its head, leading Vane to reconsider the events of the night. With this new perspective, Vane's methodical approach took on a sharper focus. He revisited the accounts of the guests, piecing together the timeline of the evening. Each guest, once a mere participant in the evening's festivities, now stood as a potential murderer, their motives laid bare under Vane's scrutiny. The resolution, both shocking and inevitable, came to light as Vane gathered the guests once more. In the drawing room, where the evening had begun with laughter and camaraderie, the truth was revealed. Vane's keen observation and logical deduction had led him to the murderer, a revelation that sent shockwaves through the room. It was Miss Beatrice, the young ward, whose mysterious past had been a source of speculation among the guests. Her argument with Lady Ashcroft, overheard by several guests, had been about a secret that Lady Ashcroft had uncovered, a secret that threatened to unravel Beatrice's carefully constructed life. In a moment of desperation, Beatrice had turned to poison, a decision that would haunt her forever. As the sun set once more over the manor, the echoes of the past lingered, a reminder of the thin line between appearance and reality. The guests, now free from suspicion, were left to ponder the events of the night and the hidden depths of human nature. The resolution of the mystery, while bringing closure, also left a lingering sense of unease, a reminder that beneath the surface of civility lay a world of secrets and lies. Inspector Vane, his work done, took a moment to reflect on the events of the past day. His methodical approach had once again proven successful, his ability to see what others overlooked, leading to the truth. As he prepared to leave the manor, Vane knew that the events of the night would linger in the minds of the guests, a reminder of the fragility of trust and the darkness that lay within. In the end, the case of the woman who died before dawn served as a stark reminder of the complexities of human nature. The thin line between appearance and reality, the web of deceit and intrigue, and the secrets that lay beneath the surface all came together in a tapestry of mystery and revelation. As the manor settled into the quiet of the evening, the lessons of the night remained, a testament to the enduring power of truth and the relentless pursuit of justice.